If Iran threatens us in any way, they will pay a price like few countries have ever paid.
They would not dare carry out military threats against Iran. The Americans know very well that Iran and its allies in the region would retaliate very hard and make America face dark days to come.
You just take a look at what's happening in virtually any place in the Middle East. Iran is behind it. So what kind of a deal is this where it wasn't even discussed? We'll find out. You'll find out about that. It won't be so easy for them to restart. They're not going to be restarting anything. They restart it, they're going to have big problems, bigger than they've ever had before. And you can mark it down. They restart their nuclear program, they will have bigger problems than they have ever had before.
What will happen, do you think, if President Trump pulls the United States out of the nuclear deal?
Exiting such an agreement would carry a high cost for the United States of America, and I do not believe that Americans would be willing to pay such a high cost for something that will be useless for them. It will yield no results for the United States, but at the same time, it will generally decrease and cut away and chip away at international trust placed in the United States of America.
What would you do? What would Iran do?
We will have various options at our disposal vis-a-vis this issue if the United States pulls out of the JCPOA. And there has been quite a great deal of thought given to this possible scenario regarding our reaction. And if such a thing were to happen, quite swiftly the world will see Iran's steps and reactions. This action will take place in a matter of a few days. However, given that Mr. Trump's reactions and actions and policies are somewhat unpredictable, we have had long thought and discussions about our reaction.
You have to insist that you actually dismantle the components that allow Iran to produce an arsenal of nuclear weapons. If you don't, and you do nothing, then I predict that what you'll do is head right into a wall. You'll head into a terrible conflict and perhaps a terrible war in which Iran would be armed with nuclear weapons. That's bad. If you want peace...
Well, it sounds like you're suggesting that that's the only course anyway. The way you outline the threat and the intentions of Iran, it seems as though you are indicating that you are on the precipice of war with this nation, because that's the only way that you'd be able to guarantee that you smash all of their capabilities and stop all of their evil outreach in the surrounding region, as you describe it. Is that what you mean? Are you prepared to go to war against Iran?
President Trump is unhappy with the deal. And it now appears that the response from some Europeans has been to offer the United States more concessions from our pocket. This appeasement entails promises of a new deal that would include matters we all decided to exclude at the outset of our negotiations, including Iran's defensive capabilities and regional influence. But please understand, on both issues, it is Iran and not the West that has serious grievances and much to demand. We have not attacked anyone in centuries, but we have been invaded.
Iran deal is an important issue, we'll discuss about that, but we have to take it as a part of a broader picture, which is security in the overall region. And we have the Syrian situation, we have upcoming election in Iraq, we have the stability to preserve for our allies in the region, and what we want to do is to contain the Iranian presence in the region, and JCPOA is part of this broader picture. Thank you.
It just seems that no matter where you go, especially in the Middle East, Iran is behind it. Wherever there's trouble, Yemen, Syria, no matter where you have it, Iran is behind it. And now, unfortunately, Russia is getting more and more involved. The Iran deal is a disaster. They're testing missiles, and what is that all about? You look at the ballistic missiles that they're going and testing. What kind of a deal is it where you're allowed to test missiles all over the place? But Iran seems to be behind everything where there's a problem. And you just have to take a look. You look at what's happening, you look at the fighters. Iran is always there, and we're not going to allow certain things to happen that are happening. But there is a chance, and nobody knows what I'm going to do on the 12th, although, Mr. President, you have a pretty good idea. But we'll see. But we'll see also if I do what some people expect, whether or not it will be possible to do a new deal with solid foundations, because this is a deal with decayed foundations. It's a bad deal. It's a bad structure. It's falling down. Should have never, ever been made. I blame Congress. I blame a lot of people for it. But it should have never been made. And we're going to see what happens on the 12th. But I will say, if Iran threatens us in any way, they will pay a price like few countries have ever paid.